My mom had a stalker for years. She was maybe in her early 30s. I was about 3, and my brother was about 1 when this started. My dad would leave for work in the morning, and as soon as he was gone, the calls would start coming in. She'd answer the phone, and some guy would be saying all this horribly sadistic and sexual things about what he wanted to do to my mom. She was beyond frightened and didn't know what to do. Sometimes the caller would describe what she was wearing and at that very minute, or described what she was doing. My parents were struggling financially, so they couldn't just up and move, but my mom started spending more and more time at my dad's mother's house when he was away. The cops got involved, but they couldn't trace the call. Finally, they were able to save up enough money to move. I was about 6 by this time. The phone number was changed and unlisted in the phone book. This was around 1988 when everyone still used landlines. My mom never got another scary phone call, but she had nightmares about it for years. When I was little, I remembered going into her bedroom in the morning and she would be sobbing into her pillow. I didn't understand it at that point, but she explained later in life that she'd wake up from a nightmare and just shake and cry. A couple months after we had moved, the cops informed us that they finally caught the guy. It was our next door neighbor's 19-year-old son. He had been in the military but was discharged due to severe mental illness. I guess he was put into some sort of special security home that specialized in mental health. The lead investigator said that the son was obsessed with my mother, and they found a box in his room full of a bunch of photographs candidly taken of her when she was out in the garden or playing with us kids in the yard. It chills me to the bone when I think about it now. Anything could have happened to my mother when my dad was at work, and I'd be too young to help her. This happened when I was living in Indonesia, to set the scene. If anyone on the Minute off chance knows this woman or someone has told you this happened to them, please do pipe up. It's obsessed me since it happened, and I think about this woman every day. So we had a house for a while that was a bit like a wedding cake. On top was a little snug nook room, a bit like a ship's crow nest. You could see for ages around. We were in the middle of an empty square patch of land, and it backed on to an unused field. Big, flat, open. Nowhere to hide. No trees lining it, just more flat field, and then a tall back wall. A wall of about 4 foot high separated the field and my house. One day, late afternoon kind of time, I was up there just relaxing, and I hear these blood-curdling screams. Help me! Help me! All of that. A woman, probably Australian Kiwi, screaming in English. I've never heard anything like it. From my nest, I could see her running across the field at the back, kind of limping, pretty sure she was bloodied, screwed up either way. She was about halfway through it when I saw her, big field. I run down to the ground floor and towards the field, and she was gone. No sign of her at all. It took me all of about a minute, if that. I was gunning it down there to get to the field, but she had just vanished. Nowhere to be seen. Unless Usain Bolt was pursuing her, it is incredibly unlikely someone came into the field, grabbed her and pulled her back out without me having seen them. Pretty much impossible, really. I sent my house security out to look for her. I stayed in the field looking, and they went towards where she came from, and over the wall. She had just had to come over to get to the field. It was an unused holiday villa, and they found a sandal and a bit of blood, nothing else. There was blood on the wall where she climbed over, but nothing going the other way, so I didn't imagine it or make it up. We called the police, and they came and had a look, and they also found nothing. Posters went up and stuff. Nobody got back to us or anything. Heaven only knows what happened when I was coming downstairs, but I know it can't have been good. Still freaks me the heck out. My bedroom is on the second floor of the house. There's no patio or porch or overhang of any kind beneath my window. A couple of years ago, I was watching TV in bed around 2 a.m. and I heard a louder than usual animal sound. It's not uncommon to hear squirrels running around on the roof from time to time. I didn't think much of it. It kept on happening and started to sound awfully close to the window and not on the roof. I ignored it for a pretty long time. After at least 40 to 45 minutes of being irritated by the noise, best guess I had watched a couple of episodes of South Park on my DVR during the time span. I banged on the wall in hopes of scaring them off until I could get to sleep. Just 2 quick bangs with my fist, which were answered with 2 bangs on the wall right next to the window from outside. Needless to say, I just about crapped and jumped out of bed. Now, my living room has a bay window, and it's on the other end of the house, so I could look out that window from the side and see my bedroom window. I hustled downstairs and peeked out. I see a guy standing in front of my house below my bedroom window. He's got a knife, a small pocket knife, in his hand, and he's petting the front of my house. I called the police and wait. He never leaves the house, even when they rolled up and ultimately disarmed and arrested him without much struggle. My name is Liam, and it's been 4 months since I last dreamed. A lot of people set their alarms to wake up throughout the night, sleeping in half-hour bursts. Other people sleep in shifts, watching each other. I take my Clocklin, dreamless sleep. I have a good job and make good money, so I get the pills. Others aren't so lucky. Last year, some Chinese company invented a machine that lets you remember dreams in total clarity. I mean, down to the details, man. No ambiguity, crystal clear memories of amazing landscapes and experiences. It became the Christmas gift. Then you could record your dreams and upload them to YouTube. And that's when things started to fall apart. That's when we started to notice them. We never noticed them before. I think it's because in your dreams you're always focused on the doing. Taking the exam, driving the car. We never really paused and looked around the same way you might do on a Sunday morning walk. But they were there. They'd always been there, standing in the background, silently watching us. Holes instead of eyes, long fingered teeth, so many teeth. Maybe we did notice them thousands of years ago, way back when we were still lived in caves. Maybe that's where our gods and monsters came from. Maybe we evolved to forget them. Muddled dreams gave them a camouflage to hide behind. But not anymore. We saw them standing in the background and edges in our dreams and everyone else's. I thought it was one of those internet memes at first, like Slender Man or something. People with too much time on their hands photoshopping their dreams for cheap likes and scares. But they were real. And when we finally noticed them, they started to notice us. They stepped out of the peripheral, reached out with those long, gray, cold fingers and took people. I know we won't last. We can't fight them. Turning off the machines did nothing. People queued up in lines on the edge of buildings and bridges like they were waiting for a bus to come and take them away. Instead, they jumped. The roads and canals were full of red-black carnage every morning. So we don't dream. We wake each other up, or we take turns. We drink coffee like it's water. We inject, we pop pills, anything to stop us from dreaming. But it hasn't worked. I can feel my mind unravel like so many others before me. I need to get some natural sleep. I need to dream, but I don't dare. I'd gladly give up food and water if I could dream and give my brain what it needs. Instead, I stare into my computer screen trying to remember what I was trying to do. I don't trust myself behind the wheel of my car. I walk everywhere now, a stumbling, mindless walk like everyone else. We look like a zombie apocalypse, shuffling from place to place. People have started to hallucinate, not so much from sleep deprivation, but dream deprivation. And some people just snap. Some old lady in town just went for it out of the blue. No one was shocked. We watched her run into the street, screaming, desperately trying to get hit by a car. She managed to gorge out one of her eyes before she was hit. Heaven knows what she was seeing. I helped drag her out of the road, her mashed up eye in one clawed hand. We saw nothing. The hallucinations are bad, but it was worse. I think they're starting to come through now into the real world. I guess any dream is enough for them, even hallucination. I saw the first two this morning, behind me in the bathroom mirror while I was brushing my teeth. Two long-limbed, pale-faced things watching me with those holes instead of eyes, yawning mouths full of needle-thin teeth. 4 months to get to the point, and I just can't let them take me. But I can't go on. The line is efficient. We shuffled forwards. Some people scream on the way down, most don't. I think it's because they're happy to finally sleep without dreams.